And now for the thrilling conclusion of Xephos versus Alfredinho, and we're going to have an excellent matchup here to finish up the series. We've got Bretonnia versus Kislev. We're in for an absolute cavalry battle today. We've got mounted yeoman archers, peasant mob, looks like Holy Wardens of Lemaisenthal with some men-at-arms with shields here, battle pilgrims on the flanks there as well, already getting charged down by some Cosspite dervishes. For Kislev here, Fey Enchantress Double Paladin leading the way for Bretonnia. Very classic matchup, build rather, from days past. You don't see Fey as much anymore, but still potentially very potent. We've got an Ice Witch here, a bunch of Kislevite warriors, makes a lot of sense here. Oh, some horse archers for some skirmishing. Ice Guard, glaives, 3 of them, again, makes a lot of sense for anti-large. The Frostbite helps control movements a little bit here, a little bit of range damage. Wolfheart's Akshina's ambushers also for the snare, and let's officially get things rolling. Sorry for the delay on this video, had a couple of real-life things pop up, as has often been the case this summer, but I do want to show you guys this battle. I have a few more as well from just before the patch, of course, for those of you who missed it, who are not actively playing the game right now. There was a patch released on Thursday, which actually did include a good amount of balance changes for all the monogods except Khorne, and also had some stuff for Cathay, kind of fine-tuning some of the stuff from Bathsheba and some stuff from like Norska and Slanesh from the last DLC, so nice to see there. But today, this replay is as hot as the temperatures outside. Love me some humans versus humans factions always, and Kislev versus Bretonnia, certainly fun matchup for sure. We see the peasants running in to intercept Kislevite warriors. Kislevite warriors kind of phasing through a little bit, but Enchantress dives in at the same moment and is going to start to apply that good old Fey Drain. Miss of the Lady here. Yeah, there we go. Going to be doing some nice AoE damage, sort of lowers attack a little bit as well. A risky dive by the Ice Witch to get in on that heroic combat. She's going to be 3v1 potentially, with both of the paladins having a good anti-large bonus. It's a dangerous engagement for sure, but Realm Knights here in the back, Knights of the Realm as well. A couple of cavalry for Bretonnia as well, just crushing these dervishes. Unfortunately, we don't get to see any like winged lancers, which I guess kind of makes sense. They're just going to get quality checked by Bretonnian cavalry, so why not just go all in on the anti-large and kind of support units for them, which is what we see here. The Holy Wardens of Lemaisenthal just get lit up, focus fired very efficiently by Alfredinho's archers here as he takes them out. But also losing out, Kislevite warriors getting ground down by the Fey squad, and the Grail Knights also going to be pretty tough to deal with. Yeah, as long as the Knights of the Realm don't fight on top of the Kislevite warriors. Same for the Grail Knights. They should be pretty good to kind of maneuver around here, but the Ice Glaives are going to be a tough kind of final boss for this build. But as we swing around here, the Ice Witch a little bit out in the woods there, kind of chasing some mounted yeoman archers, not really doing anything, but we see a hard snare on the Grail Knights. That pack trap does technically reduce vigor on normal units, but thankfully the Grail Knights do have perfect vigor, so they're going to resist that portion of the effect. And actually the Fey comes forward with the paladins. They're going to interrupt some shooting so that Kislev doesn't really get the best value from that snare, although Bretonnia not super quick on the reordering of the charge, so they are going to get hit by the dervishes in the back. They'll take a little bit of damage from that, but let's get in close and watch as the Fey and the paladins hold down. Ooh, they're looking like they want to charge the Akshina's ambushers. You can see the speed difference there as they're slowed by that frostbite effect, but still they're going to make an impact nonetheless, and the lance formation gives them a little bit of extra mass and charge, though the Akshina's ambushers definitely in for a pretty rough time here. A little bit of Earthblood on the side for Bretonnia. Yeah, we have just Blizzard here, and the summon, of course, which has already been used. Not sure where that got off to. The Snow Leopard summon. Oh, looks like it's mixed in here with all these single entities. Going to be doing a little bit of anti-large damage, but again, 3v1 is not going to be great. 2v3 is a little bit better, but still, Paladins are no pushovers, especially for how cheap they are. They, in a situation like this, can perform quite well as long as they stick together with the Fey. 3 of them work together to try and take down any single entities they come across. But Kislev, certainly no joke. A lot of anti-large still left with these Ice Glaives. Have taken some damage, but relatively little. There's a good charge, doing some pretty solid damage there. And the Blizzard comes in as well. The Ice Guard, of course, do have solid spell resistance, which does mean kind of friendly firing them with a spell like this is going to hurt less, although it will still hurt, certainly. It also means they take less damage from the Fey Drain here. The Miss of the Lady going to be damaging them a little bit slower over time due to that spell resistance. So, yeah, it's a really nice pick here. I actually really like the pick from Alfredinho of the Ice Guards. And Bretonnia is kind of running out of steam a little bit. Beastslayers of Bastogne, Foot Squire, Regiment of Renown, Rogue, kind of elite halberd infantry. I don't even... Yeah, mid-tier halberd infantry at best, to be honest. But they're also here, also fighting. Decent leadership. They should be able to hang around for some time. And the Yeoman Archers also. They're quite cheap in comparison. I mean, what are they? Actually pretty similarly priced to the Horse Archers. Not wildly cost-effective in terms of their melee stats, but having some mobile shooting that can try and stay alive and not get killed by Kislev's mobility is quite nice. They have the potential to shoot in and get some really good value on the Ice Guard. The Ice Guard's main weakness is, of course, being shot by cheap stuff, considering they don't have a lot of armor or defenses against that. We see the Fey Enchantress here in a little bit of a pitched fight against the Ice Witch. Without this Paladin support, Paladin's getting bogged down and circle beaten by Kislev warriors. This one here actually gets terror routed away. Not great for the Fey Enchantress. Let's see if she can stay alive. Does get terror routed, but not before getting that Earthblood off. And yeah, the other Paladin here just kind of bogged down in the Wolfheart's Akshina's ambushers. They definitely need to get free and try and bail out these other two characters. For Bretonnia, loss of them would be pretty disastrous at this point. See if Alfredinho can close this one out, perhaps. But we see the mounted yeoman maneuvering over. They're going to maybe try and screen a little bit here, pick off these dervishes. Yep, dervishes do rout there. And maybe screen the Ice Witch with one of them. Try and spring the Fey loose. Not sure if that will work, but Beastslayers of Bastogne and Peasants in the meantime getting in combat against the Kislev warriors and trying to bog down the Ice Guard as well. I do see one Grail Knight still alive there. I think they're basically done, though. Yep, it looks like they're off the field. Might come back with 9 unit models remaining, but a little bit of healing for Bretonnia actually goes on the Beastslayers of Bastogne. Interesting choice for sure. Maybe should have put that on the Fey Enchantress herself, considering she is quite low. But Fey could also have a Rogue Regrowth. Nope, looks like just Dwellers for the other spell, so looking for some AoE damage perhaps in the late game. But Yeoman gonna charge on in, Men-at-Arms also continuing to fight. More support the Fey has for grind fights like this, the better it's going to be for Bretonnia in the long run, as they're able to do some AoE damage and try and equalize things a little bit. Kislev warrior is going to be quite dangerous, but ooh, that Blizzard comes in, absolutely nukes the remaining Bretonnian support units. Fey Enchantress, though, plus the Paladin get a really good engagement. Looks like they're about to take out the Ice Witch. She's down below 1,000 HP. Let's get in close, remove the health bars to add some suspense. Yeah, Fey Enchantress blasting with her magic. Doesn't look like the Paladin's anywhere close, but we do see the Dervishes rushing in. Try and screen. Distract the Fey. She pulls away. There's a couple attacks into something else. Let's pull back up. Yeah, Paladin's nowhere to be seen, but the Fey really playing with fire here. Actually gets terror routed once again. The Ice Witch also routes, though, from what I honestly don't know. But the leadership gives out there. Paladin here potentially could come back. But looking quite dangerous through the Fey. She could actually just get chased off by Horse Archers and costed by Dervishes here. But the Paladin comes back on the far side. Looks like the Fey actually restores her leadership while she's being pursued, just enough for another Earthblood on herself to try and keep it in the fight. What a game, guys. This is definitely one of the best games I've seen in quite some time. And really, this game is why I said this series might be the best of this early group stage so far. But Ice Guard continuing to hold out, to shoot their bows at whatever targets they can at this point. If they could get a Focus Fire order on the Fey Enchantress and finish her off, that would be absolutely backbreaking. Let's see. Looks like they're turning. I don't know. No, it looks like they're actually targeted on those Battle Pilgrims. Interesting. Didn't realize those Battle Pilgrims were still so healthy. Makes sense. I mean, they're going to charge in and probably finish off these Ice Guards in melee. Meanwhile, the Fey Enchantress gets one Paladin back for support. It is something, at least, to not let her get circle beaten by the Kislev warriors here. That cheap anti-large proving very, very effective in this late game. But yeah, this clutch Battle Pilgrim here with a decent amount of HP. They're going to eat a rear charge from Dervishes, but Ice Guard's also eating a rear charge, starting that Fey drain up. Going to try and screen through warriors. Fey and the Paladin trying their best not to get caught up. Looks like the Paladin did get surrounded there a little bit, but it is forcing a Comet late game. I haven't seen the Fey really use these Comets yet, so Let's see as it drops in. Probably going to friendly fire these Battle Pilgrims a little bit. Yep. Oh, actually kills most of them. But does some damage to the Kislev Warriors. Routes this other unit here as well. So it's really just all about the leadership at this point. Fey Enchantress trying to break the leadership of these units using that drain ability. She's also taking damage over time. So let's get her health bar up and kind of watch. She tries to survive. Battle Pilgrims also providing a little bit of a cushion there. I can't believe these peasant mobs are also still hanging around, just doing the absolute work of the lady as they run in here against the Ice Guard. Actually triggered by our blood. Enchantress gonna move through them. She's taken a couple shots from something else. Maybe it was from those Ice Guards, actually. Not sure. Maybe the Horse Archers, but yeah, everything else for Kislev really just can't keep its leadership together, is routing off the field. Enchantress herself is barely holding. He is wavering, in fact. 350 HP only. But this By Our Blood, let's see if that clutches it out. Nope. By Our Blood drops for the Ice Guard. Will they be able to hold long enough? Looks like Kislev Dervishes, Horse Archers riding in for another charge. But the Ice Witch is almost off the field. I'd imagine as soon as she is fully off the field, then it's probably done. Unfortunately, she's not coming back from route, honestly. It has just a little bit too much damage overall. Exhaustion, friends routing, everything. It's just a little bit too low to actually be recoverable. So I think that's game, and I think just the closest of victories for Bretonnia and for Xephos on the series. Big congratulations. Great game. Great games, honestly, to both of these players. Really, really fun series. Very enjoyable to cast. Hopefully you all enjoyed watching it as well. And in this post-battle screen, we see the Fey Enchantress. I mean, she is back in a big way. Like I said, I haven't seen many people using the Fey to good effect, but this is very much a classic powerhouse Fey Enchantress game from days past. Xephos, an experienced player, bringing back an old strat and making it sing against a very strong faction, a very strong player. Very cool to see. Almost didn't work, but just barely was able to pull out the win there. Surprisingly, the Paladins didn't get all that much value. A lot of it is just about protecting the Fey, keeping her alive with support as long as possible, and that's largely what the rest of the army accomplished. Really like the pick of the Battle Pilgrims here, even though the Holy Wardens got absolutely smoked. The other Battle Pilgrim actually came in and got some really nice value. Very respectable Beast Slayers at Bastion as well. Not a crazy amount of value there. Yeah, Grail Knights underperforming a little bit, but the Yeomen, very cheap, cost-effective. They were able to pay for themselves. So really just the Fey and the support units, like I said, tail of the tape for Bretonnia here. Ice Witch also gets some mad value. Very good stuff. Some excellent value on some of these Kislev Warriors, considering how cheap they are. Love the Ice Guard Glaives. They pretty much all are cost-effective, with the Action as Ambushers helping to contribute some support value as well. The ROI is a little bit expensive, though, for what they actually performed. Yeah, Dervish is also getting some nice value chasing routing units. Honestly, it was a really good game. Both armies just absolutely murdered each other. It just, Bretonnia had a tiny bit more. Maybe the healing made the difference. Well, definitely the healing made the difference. Without the Fey Enchantress healing herself and others, it would have been a disaster for Bretonnia. But it's the way the factions are balanced, so it's the way they're played. Anyway, that's it for me for today. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'm going to be bringing you more content from the Warhammer World Championship coming very soon. The group stages are progressing along, and I'm going to have a couple more games from pre-patch, and then we'll go for games that are post-patch, and we'll kind of talk about some of the updates maybe as we go through those games. But anyway, stay tuned for all that. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.